Hi y'all. Before I get into this video, I just want to say, like, if you aren't already subscribed to this channel, you should subscribe, and you should also like this video if you do find it helpful or anything. I also want to just point out too that I do have a gaming channel that it's for my gaming, which I also like to do. I will admit I'm not the best, but it'll be fun over there. I already have 3 videos out. It would really mean a lot if y'all went over there, checked it out, liked the videos, and subscribed. Anyways, let's just get into this video, which is How to Fanganronpa Episode 2, Making Your Antagonist. First up, I wanted to say, check the protagonist video for the very basics of making your antagonist, because the protagonist video covers the very basics of how just to start off with a character. So, go to that, rewatch that, blah blah blah, because otherwise this would be very long. Next up is, why is your antagonist actually opposing your protagonist? Are they genuinely a bad person who wants to see your protagonist fail? Or do they just have a general differing of ideals but can still somewhat understand your protagonist? Like, they don't have to be a puppy kicker, they could be an okay person. Which brings me up to my next point is your antagonist a good person? Because I want to point this out here. The word antagonist does not mean bad person. It just means they oppose your protagonist. And protagonist does not mean good person. It just means that they are who the story is about. Your protagonist could be an absolute dick, so your antagonist would have to be a nice person. It's just how those two words work. Which brings me on to the next point is, what does your antagonist actually do in the story? Are they sort of just kind of like a mean person like Byakuya? Like, are they kind of a dick to everyone because they think they're better? Or do they threaten to blow the entire area up like Nagito did? Like, what do they do? In my turn, I almost said professional, not professional. In my opinion, an antagonist somewhere in between Byakuya and Nagito is probably the best thing, because an antagonist like Byakuya just isn't really that interesting in this day and age, and an antagonist like Nagito is really hard to write. So, next up is, give your antagonist a backstory. The backstory should explain their motives, just like how a backstory will explain every other character's motives. Your antagonist's backstory should tie into why they act the way they do. Even if their backstory is saying, like, they grew up in this amazing, nice life, but now they hate everyone, just something, give your antagonist something. And finally, and this is probably the biggest point here, is if you have smaller antagonistic forces like Angie from Danganronpa V3, make sure that the smaller antagonistic forces do not outshine your main antagonist for too long. You may have them be relevant for a chapter or so, but your main antagonist should be the one shining in the spotlight. They should never be taken away from the story, and they should last until the very end of the story. No pulling out another new main antagonist halfway throughout the story, because, it just doesn't really work, and you'd have to rebuild them and shit with less time to do so, etc., etc. Another thing too is that, like, if you want to redeem your antagonist, start their road to redemption at chapter 4, because that is near the ending of your story. That is where they can start to be redeemed. But for the first 3 chapters and prologue, they should still be an antagonistic force. You can do a cop-out antagonist like Nagito, where they're introduced as a helper only to be realized as the antagonist later on, or you can go straight forward like Byakuya, where he's just a dick to everyone from the start. But just make them antagonistic, make them do bad things that drive the plot forward. Another thing I want to note here too is, this is sort of a combination of the protag, antag, and helper characters, but I've noticed a lot that fangans tend to only focus on those 3 characters and no other character. So another piece of advice for those big 3 is, make sure you give time to your other side characters and let them, get their own character moments, and let your antagonist, helper, and protagonist breathe once in a while. Basically, what I'm saying is not every waking second of your story has to revolve around the protagonist and helper or protagonist and antagonist. You can allow for other things to happen, and another thing too is like your antagonist should still form some relationships with the rest of their class. Even if they dislike the antagonist, that's still a relationship. Just give your antagonist something, like I don't really know what to say because I like writing antagonists, but at the same time, I don't want to spoil my own Fanganronpa antagonists for y'all. So, yeah, but another fun thing to do with antagonists too, might I add, is taking the ultimate they have and flipping it on the head. I'm actually going to reveal two of my antagonists, my first and second one from my first and second Fangan, because I can. Anyways, my ultimate volleyball star and ultimate firefighter are the antagonists, which their entire motives and general attitude are the exact opposite of what you'd expect those professions to be like. Obviously, volleyball is a sport where you have 5 other players on your team. It's a team sport, yet my super high school level volleyball player, she doesn't trust the rest of the group and she'd prefer to go as a lone wolf. That actively breaks the stereotype that, oh, volleyball equals teamwork, And my firefighter only, hangs out with a select few people and only really cares about saving those select few people, which is nearly the opposite of what a firefighter would do. They care about saving everyone or as many people as possible, not just the people they care about, They actively, go against or somehow don't fully lead into the stereotypes or their general job of what they're supposed to do, Anyways, those were just some examples. Anyways, yet again, if you aren't subscribed to this channel, you should subscribe for more How to Fanganronpa related content in the next couple, while. Like and subscribe to this channel and, well, not like this channel, subscribe to this channel, like this video, and yet again, link in the description for my gaming channel. Yet again, I do games over there. On that channel, once I reach 100 subs, I will be doing a Q&A, so there's some incentive. Yet again, it would be really nice if y'all went over there and subscribed and watched the videos, or, I have stated too, I do plan on doing more Minecraft related things, but anyways, and even if you don't like that, maybe you have a friend who does or something, or a sibling, and, just go over and, say hey, blah, 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 you might like this. Anyways, yeah, bye, lol.